over the hills. I'm Rebecca. This is Jewel.
Andrew.
And John David.
My name is John David.
Good job.
Yeah, definitely John. So John David, 6 years old. He's definitely a sensory seeker. Loves the trampoline, loves the gymnastics every Wednesday, loves the pool, the beach, anything associated with water, dirt, sand, everything. He's definitely a sensory seeker. Sister Jewel.
So when he was about 13 months, we noticed that he was regressing with speech and different hand motions. Like for instance, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. He had done about 10 months, and about 3 months later, he stopped clapping, he stopped waving, he stopped babbling even. So we went to the doctor and he started speech therapy around 16 months. So at 18 months, we decided it was time to go find a child psychologist to figure out what's going on with John David. So we decided to get him tested for the autism spectrum, and after a few hours of doing different tests and questions and working with him to figure it out, a few months, like 2 or 3 weeks later, we were able to find out that he was diagnosed with autism spectrum at 2 years old exactly.
Yeah, so I guess in receiving John David's initial diagnosis, it was definitely nerve-wracking, kind of get overwhelmed with emotions, getting that diagnosis, but then afterwards, you basically need to embrace it like we did, and you just really work with John David every day, therapies that he needs, or like any type of medical assistance that he needs, so like to make his life the best, essentially the best possible life that he can have.
And I mean, for me, it was definitely scary because you have to realize that what you thought your child was going to grow up to be may have changed just in a different way, and how we're going to have to work as parents to make him the best person that he can be and help him become the best person he can be.
Yep, 100%.
As far as things that have changed in our life since his diagnosis, we did bring his sister Jewel into the world, and we think it's just such a special thing that he's able to grow up with and have a built-in friend, and we know that that's like just going to be such a special thing as he gets older and to have. I would say our family and friends' reactions were different. I would say on one side, a lot were really embraced us, and then on the other side of it, I would say some were unsure of how to interact with him at this point. They still are. There's some that we have to try to teach as parents and as advocates how to interact with him, how to treat him, and even we notice as meeting people out in the world, we have to teach them how to interact with our own child.
Yeah, you have to adapt to him, like John David's environment. Just adapt to him instead of trying to get him to adapt to us. It's not going to work that way.
To other people, yeah.
Yep. Normal every day, waking up at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. with John David. He's an early riser, and once he's up. It's like ready to go. So that really gets the morning kicked off. Probably a bath, etc. Getting some crackers and water in. Then getting ready for therapy in the morning. So John David goes to therapy every day, 7:30. Gets picked up at 3. Then that's where like they pretty much picks up from that point forward.
Yeah, John David, as far as our normal goes with John David, I mean, he likes multiple baths a day. I mean, he loves being outside, so we are outside almost all day long when we're home. He loves movement, so we are trying to get him to move and get his body moving. He loves swinging, so that's our idea of normal as far as getting through the day. We just want John David to feel most comfortable, and That keeps it small.
Yeah, be happy. Yeah, trampoline
Is that
time.
sound?
Yeah, everything. Anything with movement. That's it. Yeah, so some of the highlights of raising John David is just seeing the joy through his eyes, and just, I guess, living life with him. Just the smallest things really get him excited. Bringing him to Disney World, I mean, that's like that's like over the moon for us to see him in that environment and be able to ride those rides. And I guess I'm just trying to think. I was think stimming. I mean, like stimming is a good thing, right? Like,
oh yeah, I would say for instance, he went on a ride at Disney and we could just tell how much it meant to him on this one particular ride, because he would just sway his head and wave his arms really fast, and it just showed, wow, this is just such a joyful moment for him. And it made us feel so happy to know that our son was just, I don't know, just so happy in this moment. It just was so special. I would say some of the challenges that we've had to deal with John David being on the autism spectrum would be that you never know what each day is going to hold, and especially with transitioning, I would say that is one of the top challenges we've ever had to deal with since he's been diagnosed. And that's transitioning from a car to a museum. That's transitioning from our house to the car. We have to go at it a different way than a typical developing child does.
Yeah, and I would say challenges, you have to really stay true to the routine, because they get really honed in on that routine and they get in their flow, and that's when they're super happy. And as soon as you say, like, you bring him to therapy every morning to this one location, then you change it up to him. Like to him, like we're bringing him somewhere crazy probably, or it's just like out of the thing, he gets super upset. So it's just like making sure they stay on their routines as much as possible. But we also want to introduce new things to them as well. So yeah, it's definitely challenging, but fun.
So we heard about the Magnolia Rose Foundation because we go to Beyond Gymnastics with Magnolia. John David goes with her, and they're just so wonderful, and she told us about this, and we were able to go to some of the events. The Magnolia Rose Foundation has benefited us in so many ways. When we found out he was diagnosed, we had about 2 years before we found the Magnolia Rose Foundation, and we really weren't able to find many things that included neurodivergent children or children on the autism spectrum. And when we found the Magnolia Rose Foundation, it just includes them. It's so special. It just gives them the opportunity to go out in the real world and just play and be themselves. And it's just such a special thing that Miranda's created.
Yeah, definitely. Then even with the movie deals that we just did this past weekend, it's just like, I don't know, you just take like a big, deep breath and like, man, it's okay for my son to run around the movies and be happy, take his shoes off and really not be judged. And it's like, it just makes you just like sit back, relax, and just soak everything in. So we definitely appreciate everything they've done.
So I think what we wish we would have known is when we found out, just more information given to us of where we can go, what we can do to gain more information to learn and grow with John David. And we weren't given that. A lot of it was me and my husband being able to go out and look and research on our own, what can we get for John David.
Just doing research ourselves on, I guess like quote unquote Dr. Google, right? Because it's really there's not a central location that say like, hey, parents who have kids on the spectrum, you can go to these places for services, schools, therapies, etc. And I feel like now it's becoming more well established where these these programs with Magnolia Rose Foundation is getting everything kind of centralized for us, and it makes it easier for us as parents to know what services are out there available. And I wish that was more readily available at that point in time for us with John David. So.
And then as far as when you do get the diagnosis, I think just getting it in your head that this isn't the end of the world, this isn't the end for your child. This is only the beginning. It's just the beginning of a new normal, a new reality for your family, and you just have to learn to grow with it each day. And I think one of the biggest things about autism that I'm learning as a parent is that you have to take it day by day. You have to reward the little moments that most people think are nothing, but to us, they're huge. And that's just the biggest thing I would say. Just take it day by day, moment by moment, and try to learn and grow from as many people as you can. The Magnolia Rose Foundation is very important to keep going because as our children get older, they are going to have more opportunities to meet people like them, and this gives them that opportunity, and it also gives them opportunity to try new things and be around children that are like them.
I mean, people should donate for Magnolia Rose Foundation because it opens up all these endless opportunities that gets provided to families that may not have those opportunities to go explore things and have these events. So yeah, I mean, it's a super great foundation. We definitely recommend it. I mean, it helps bring the kids together, get to see all the other kids and families. I guess we're becoming one big family as we see all these other families throughout the weeks and months and years, etc. So, yeah.